Hi, everybody. Steve Paikin here. The world is changing fast, eh? I'm not sure I've ever experienced anything like it in my 40-plus years of journalism. Where does Canada fit in all of this? From federal politics to foreign policy to in-depth one-on-one interviews, we'll try to help you understand this uncertain era in which we now find ourselves. The Paikin Podcast. Find us on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, welcome to Someone Else's Movie, the original podcast where an actor, writer, director, or nebulous industry figure gives a little love to a movie they didn't make. I'm Norm Wilner, I'm a critic, consultant, and programmer based in Toronto, and this is the other thing I do. My guest this week is Arnaud Desplechin, a French writer and director who specializes in emotionally complex, narratively dense films like My Sex Life, or How I Got Into an Argument, Kings and Queen, A Christmas Tale, and Ismael's Ghosts, among others. His latest is Two Pianos, starring Francois Civil and Charlotte Rampling in a story of lost loves, unlikely connections, and fate. It's now playing in New York and Los Angeles and expanding to additional markets in the coming weeks. You should check it out. Arnaud picked Funny People, Judd Apatow's 2009 dramedy, starring Seth Rogen and Adam Sandler as two comedians at very different places in their lives. Rogen's Ira is just starting out, while Sandler's George has moved from stand-up to acting, much like Sandler himself. George hires Ira as his assistant just as George is diagnosed with leukemia, triggering a personal crisis that only gets worse when he decides to win back his ex-fiancée Laura, played by Leslie Mann, who's now happily married to someone else. After the success of The 40-Year-Old Virgin and Knocked Up, Apatow took a real risk with this one, and not everyone knew what to do with it. There's a lot to talk about, and my only regret is that we had so little time, because Arnaud is currently in Brussels shooting a movie with Alfred Woodard, J.K. Simmons, Felicity Jones, and Jason Schwartzman, who plays one of Ira's roommates in the film. But we did our best. This is Someone Else's Movie.
Why Funny People? Because I love the film, and because these days I'm shooting a new film in Brussels, which is a story which is happening in Paris, and I'm for the first time in my life, I'm playing with Jason Schwartzman. So I had to go for Funny People, because I could see, with the inventions of Jason Schwartzman, how all this gang of, going from Seth Rogen to Jonah Hill, to Adam Sandler are able to improvise and to embellish the scene where they're acting, And so I was really stunned, when I saw the first time, it's a film that I start to know quite well, the Judd Apatow movie. I love its melancholy. I love its raw humor. I love the character of Aubrey Plaza. I think it's so daring, so challenging, so shocking and bizarre and human, deeply human. I loved it. I love so many of the comedies of Judd Apatow, but this one I cherish it very specifically. Perhaps also because it's dealing with death and with, disease and, anguish, leukemia, etc. And it's funny. So that's why I love it.
It's a film that sort of sticks out in his filmography for me because he makes these movies about life, that are sort of disguised by the comedy. The 40-Year-Old Virgin is very funny and sort of an updating of 80s sex comedies, but it is also about male insecurity and desperation and loneliness and sadness.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing it with an audience that was absolutely enthralled by it. They'd never seen anything like it. It was this comedy that came out of nowhere. But what he's doing with all these traditional pieces is then stitching together. He's really trying to tell human stories. And going back to Funny People for this, I realized I don't think he's done a better scene in his entire career than the moment where Rogen plays Warren Zevon for Sandler, Keep Me in Your Heart for a While. And it just stops because neither of them knows what to do with the emotions that are happening. Yeah. It's just forcing the audience to sit in this humanity.
Yeah.
Which I personally, as a massive fan of Warren Zevon and someone who was still feeling the loss in 2009, he hadn't died that long ago. It felt like this massive emotional swing in the middle of a movie that was playing for an audience that did not know how to receive it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. But it's just like what I would go with you on that. It's also like the jokes of Seth Rogen. You don't know how to accept them. They are so strange. His way or the performances, of Adam Sandler when he's on stage, singing the very angry, bitter song. And do you think, am I allowed to laugh or do I have to hate it or am I insulted? Am I cherished? You don't know how to react to it, and that's the thrill of the movie. And the truth of the film is that this humanity. I love the way Los Angeles is filmed too. It's a deeply LA movie, and really can understand the city looking at these people and in these landscapes.
Yeah, it's an industry town in a way
Yeah,
that we
yeah,
rarely
it is.
see.
Yeah.
And the meat grinder of comedy too is something that, it's become a cliche because of all the television shows about comedians. But
Uh-huh.
again, Apatow has this remarkable perspective of having been around it. Have you read
Yeah.
his books?
Yeah, I read one of these books. Yeah, he has been through that, so he's speaking about something that he knows. It's at the scene where Adam Sandler is looking at the videos of the jokes that he was playing when he was a kid.
Mhm.
You can see that all these guys know the stuff. They are speaking about something that they know. So you are accepted. I was accepted in the film, because they accepted me, and they knew what they were dealing with. So that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. And the sense too that you're watching people who they haven't exactly lost the magic of it, but that is sort of the point of the film. It's the new kid who is a fan who is also doing something different,
Mhm.
reminding everyone who's a generation older of what they used to do
Yeah,
and what they
yeah.
used to mean to people.
Mm.
I saw Sandler in a comedy club in Toronto in 1992. There was this very small festival.
Did you? Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was, I mean, he was a really remarkable presence. He also did a bit called The Laughing Queer, which he has sort of scrubbed from the universe and no one remembers him ever doing it. It was wildly homophobic, but it did make a point. So it was pushing that boundary, which immediately, the second he became
Uh-huh.
a Saturday Night Live guy, which I think happened 6 months later. I don't even know that he'd already been on the show.
Hmm.
This was in the summer of 92. It was this really interesting, electric, dangerous moment where he
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
lost the room. He was sort of daring them not to go along with him.
Mhm.
And at the same time, if you had just wandered in, you would see like a punk attitude, this kid just trying to provoke
Yeah,
the
yeah.
crowd.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But the first 5 minutes he'd done before that were different and gentle. And so there's structure there and it's all very calculated. And then he became the shouty guy for 20 years in comedy. That was the thing everyone
Yeah.
wanted him to do.
Uh-huh.
And watching him claw his way back from that and realizing that, every 5 years he gives a genuine dramatic performance for someone who he
Mm.
trusts, Punch Drunk Love or
Yeah, yeah. Uncut James, where he's fantastic. I mean, he's astonishing. And Punch Drunk Love was the wonderful PTA comedy. I mean, there's such a strange film. But what we saw, Uncut James, I mean, we are dazzled. I mean, the film is absolutely fantastic. But I think in Funny People, I think the lovely mixture is the fact that the characters and the actors are so provoking and challenging us. But there is the warmth of Judd Apatow and his gentleness and his sweetness, inviting them to provoke us. But he knows that he will be so gentle and sweet with us, so you have the two colors in the same time, the provocation and the gentleness and how we are welcome in the film by Judd Apatow.
it is something Apatow does that no one gives him credit for, I think.
Yeah.
Everyone, they make fun of his running times and his indulgences.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And maybe there's some merit to those criticisms. As much as I like Funny People, I do think that had it ended with George getting his remission diagnosis, if it
Uh-huh.
cuts out on that moment where the doctor just looks at him and says, "Oh, you like me now, right?" And that's a
Yeah.
good ending.
Yeah, that's a wonderful ending. Yeah. All the jokes, the terrible jokes about when the doctor, when they are speaking about the baddies in James Bond and the IKEA stuff, etc., etc. And it's so insulting for the doctor. I mean, it starts to be so funny and hilarious. And you can imagine how the two actors, the two comedians, Seth Rogen and Adam Sandler, added a lot to that scene with impros, etc. I love it. I just love it.
Yeah, it's a celebration of inspiration, I think, if
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. Uh-huh.
But then the film goes on for another hour, and that was an experience too.
That's the last section with Leslie Mann.
Mm-hmm.
I love her. She's fantastic. I love the first scene when she comes and visits him. When he's still sick, etc. And at his big mansion, in LA. And after that, you have the last section with the family, which is to me that's perhaps why I proposed that film. A part which is not as good as the first 1 hour and a half, and it's coming from a warm heart. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I accept it. And so what I wanted to say about that is that in a film which is also entertainment, which is a movie, to entertain us, and to you can have art here and there. The film doesn't have to be an absolute masterpiece, but because you have absolute moment of art in it. You see what I mean? Is the film perfect? No, it's not perfect. The ending is not perfect. We know that. We know that. But there is art here and there, and that's what's so precious for me. Is that in a film made in US with the American industry, etc., you have pure moment of art, of dedication to the art of cinema, and that's what I love. The fact that the film is not a pure film, that is a film which is impure, and that's what I love, impurity. That's what I love, and that's how I arrived to accept the ending of it. The love story with Leslie Mann and Adam Sandler and Bana, etc., which is not the best part of the movie, but which is coming from a tender heart.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that it's bad. It's just atonal with what we've seen previously.
Yeah, out of tone a bit. Yeah.
But also, when you said you wanted to talk about funny people, that was the material that I thought about. I immediately associated that that's what you would be drawn to, because your films have this awareness of complexity in character. And I am obviously collapsing everything into this easy argument. But the films that you've made that have most moved me are the ones that trick me into relaxing. Kings and Queen, Christmas Tale. I saw Conte de Noël at Cannes, and feeling that movie with an audience as the ending sort of snuck up on us all, and then the wave that happened afterwards. And that's a year before, I think, right? That was 2008. So that was a year before Funny People.
Yeah.
There is definitely a quality to your ensemble pieces where everything is swirling around and the ideas just sort of form and take shape in the center, like in the eye of a hurricane. And Funny People's second movement does that. It throws out all this silly stuff in the first hour and a half, and then settles it down and quietly shows us what it would be like to live with this, what it would be like to do something spectacularly selfish for the wrong reasons, but convincing yourself that it's the right thing to do, and then watch the impact of it ripple out throughout all the characters. It does feel like your stuff.
It's also because the all these characters are parading, with their shows, and their comedian stuff, etc. But it has to have a link with real life, and so that's what they meet in the last third of the movie. It's real life. What is a couple? What is a love story? What are kids? You have kids on Earth. You have to deal with it. You have to cope with that, etc. And that's what. So all the film is. They are all very flamboyant characters. But there is a use to that, which is the common life that you discover in the last third of the movie, which is less spectacular than the show they are giving us, when they are the comedians, and suddenly they are human beings, at the end of the movie. And that's the beauty of it. That's how we can accept this last third, plus Leslie Mann being a great actress.
Hey, it's Norm, interrupting my own show to bring you up to speed on Shiny Things, my newsletter about physical media, culture, and the odd streaming project. Last week, I wrote about the new 4K releases of Highest to Lowest and Dust Bunny, and new editions of Sleepers from Warner, and the Fabulous Baker Boys, Wrong is Right, and the Magnificent Seven franchise from Imprint Films. Sign up for a 14-day free trial at shiny-things.ghost.io or find a link at the Semcast Blue Sky account. You like reading about movies? I like writing about them. Come check it out. There is that weird line, that hostility, and it's always pushed at the women in these films, which is really unfortunate, but the hostility of the audience towards the idea that Judd Apatow would cast his wife. But, I mean, she's great. She's always reliably textured and detailed and thoughtful and fun and warm.
Yeah.
It's, you know, I think it goes the other way. I think he's incredibly lucky to have married her and have her.
Yeah, we have to see it the other way, as you say. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And over the years, I mean, she's just continued to shore up her abilities both with him and separately in other projects. But this is the one where if she doesn't pull off that role, the film doesn't work.
Yeah. He needed this actress and not another one. He needed her deeply. Yeah. And that's the beauty of it. That the human aspect in the film, which is so moving, you know, it's also, I guess, you can feel seeing such a film that is linked with the actors of Judd Apatow, the director, the real friendship and the real love he has for the actor is transmitted to us, you know. Through this love, we can see the best performances. You know, we didn't mention that much Seth Rogen, but Seth Rogen in the film is, I mean, gigantic. He's gigantic. You know, what he's doing is so moving, funny, vulnerable, brash. It's everything. It's everything. You know, when he's the joke, you know, when Adam Sandler is saying to him that do you want to kill me because, you know, I can't endure that pain, etc. And then, you know, and he's trapped into the joke of the mean joke of Adam Sandler, of George. And Ira is stunned and say, you caught me, etc. His big voice, etc. The performance. But why do you have such a great performance? It's because Judd Apatow loved them. It's that simple. You know, but love is quite a complicated issue, mainly when you are a director. And so to offer that love and that love will be on screen, you know, that's the challenge that Judd Apatow was able to achieve.
I agree. Even the choice to cast Rogen as the lead in Knocked Up earlier, right? That's the leveling of someone who sees and appreciates an actor's potential, because Rogen at the time, and I'm so glad you brought him up because I was trying to figure out how to pivot to him. Rogen at the time was still actively denying that he could act at all, which I think started as a bit and then became genuine imposter syndrome. I'd spoken to him a number of times over that period when he was in Observe and Report, which is an incredible dark performance that he refused to take any credit for. He just said, "Oh, I play pretend. I just run around." And then 2 years later, he's in Sarah Polley's film, Take This Waltz. We put him on the cover of Now for that one, and he spent the entire interview just talking around the fact that he was being directed towards these performances, and that does not happen unless there's something there to begin with, right? You don't get cast if you don't have potential, and you don't come away from a movie having given a great performance if you are not a great performer. And he's finally coming around to it, but it took him so long to just accept. And I get it. He was 16 when he was cast in Freaks and Geeks. He was a child actor, basically. And he's grown up surrounded.
But it's beautiful the way that Judd Apatow, and you are mentioning Knocked Up, which is the film with his raw sense of humor, which is so outrageous and which is so lovely. And but you know, it's big, but it's so human at the same time. Just as that's the art of Apatow, you know, that's his art. But to see how he was accepted by Judd Apatow, and so that's how he gave the best performances, you know, because he was accepted and filmed, deeply filmed. You know, what is it to acknowledge someone when you film him? You know, that's what Judd Apatow is doing. You know, his modesty of the director is beautiful too. You know, he is leaving all the room to the actors, and that's what I love in his work. You know, because they are the heroes. It's not Judd Apatow. You know, that's the people that he's filming and acknowledging who are our heroes, and this modesty enchanted me. Yeah.
And he's willing to wait too as a director, and make us wait as an audience, which I find very rare in comedy. I mean, even
Yeah.
now, after he's established this entire
Uh-huh.
subgenre of standing around talking movies,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
he can still hide themes and develop character without drawing attention to it in the way he doesn't. He does do. I was going to say he doesn't do big speeches. He does, but they're
Mhm.
always avoidant. They're always people trying not to talk about the thing they want to talk about, which is the core of drama, not comedy.
Uh,
But you put that on a comedian and you get something richer. I think about, Mathieu Amalric, who is very, very funny, but almost never plays a straight comedic role.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But his energy is always just a little wrong for drama, if that makes sense. And it's perfect
Yeah,
because it
yeah,
makes him more.
that makes sense totally. That it's, I think you were mentioning a Christmas Tale, and the so I was filming this family, which was the Vuillard family, with the mother having a cancer, just like Adam Sandler, he's having this leukemia to fight against, etc. And so what I was saying once, about this family, the Vuillard family, Catherine Deneuve, Mathieu Amalric, is that they were the worst character on earth to write for the script writing, is because they are saying the forbidden line at the opening of the scene, of each scene. So, you have a family dinner, and the father is saying, why do you read at the table? Because I'm bored. And he's saying that at the beginning of the scene. So how do you manage? After that, the son will meet his mother. And the opening line is, I didn't like you. I never liked you. I never loved you. I didn't care about you. That's the opening line. And usually in a film, it's the forbidden lines which are supposed to be said at the end of the movie. You see what I mean? In a family, in a Christmas film, the character arrives, and he spends 55 minutes, and after 55 minutes, he's saying to his mother, "Mom, I'm gay." So, and you have to wait for the film. But here with the Villa family, he's starting the scene saying, "Oh, by the way, I'm gay. Here is my companion." That's the opening line. So you have to deal with that. The fact that they are so brash and arrogant, and that's what I love, in the Judd Apatow style, is that all the hidden things is putting them on the table, and you have to deal with it. All the forbidden lies are said at the opening of each scene, and so that's where Seth Rogen is a master. He's saying all the most embarrassing things that you would love to hide, and that's what we love in these films.
It's destabilizing, right? It's
Yeah, yeah,
immediately
deeply, deeply.
it's immediately funny because of the awkwardness, but then
But it feels good when you say something which is forbidden, which is forbidden to accept, to say, to confess, etc. But when it's said loudly and proudly, it feels good. It's a relief for all the audience. Yeah.
I suppose in funny people it's declarations of love,
Yeah.
but the thing you're never supposed to do in Hollywood, right, is to go beyond "I love your work." You can't actually start talking about what it means because then it makes everyone uncomfortable.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, sure. You're right. You're right.
And so we have this admiration that is like love. I mean, it's about two people becoming friends, and it takes the full length of the film to get there.
Until the last shot, which is a beautiful shot, which is a pure shot of cinema, because everything now is peaceful and quiet, etc. But you see the two guys, and you realize that you saw the birth of a friendship and what is friendship, and obviously friendship has to do with love, and the limit, the difference between love and friendship is so small, and that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. It's a film produced by Judd Apatow, but it's the ending of We Want Sex, the with Jonah Hill. Sorry, it was the French title. I forgot the American title of
Oh,
the film.
super bad.
Super bad. The ending in the mall, you know, each time I'm looking at Super Bad, if it's late at night and I'm looking Super Bad, I'm crying at the end of the film. It's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking to see these two suburban kings, hanging around in a stupid mall with the girls trying to date them, etc. It's just such a common life. It's beautiful, like I don't know, a film by Edward Young, or some Taiwanese director. It's overwhelming, at the end. Sure, the film is shocking and hilarious, but it's also deeply moving. And this ending in the mall is absolutely fantastic. In fact, to me, it's extremely moving, extremely moving.
Yeah, it's so lovely to see films that are made to acknowledge the passing of something or the beginning of something
Yeah.
and
There
to
is a
set it in.
melancholy in it. It's strange that there is a melancholy when the films are so brutal in the same time. So how can you be brutal and melancholic in the same time? That's the magic of Judd Apatow. It's that's the beauty of it. Yeah.
I know we're in a short window, so I don't want to. This is where I start to get greedy and just want to start going through all of Apatow's films. But it is interesting to see him try it with other formulas and not quite get there, like The King of Staten Island, which isn't a bad film, but just seems
A
to go.
good film. It's a good film. It's a
Okay.
really good film. Yeah. I saw it in theaters in Paris. I loved it. I loved it. It's a strange film. But if you want to have news about what is America today, what are the US today, go and see that film. You learn everything about what the suburbs, the guys, the youth, etc. You learn so many things about the real people. I mean, it's you have news from the US, when so many films are lying about what is the country, what are the US today, etc. When you see The King of Staten Island, you understand everything about what America is. You have news from people, from real people. No, I love the film. It's not as good as other films, Who cares? Films are not here to be masterpieces, It's not literature, Films are here to give us news about life and to let some art appear here and there, not everywhere, but here and there, to let this miracle of cinema appear here and there, like this small, in Superbad, which is a miracle of cinema, which happens suddenly, and it was not predictable, and suddenly it's here in front of your eyes. And that's yeah, miracle, a little miracle.
I wonder if it was just that I saw it because of the pandemic. I had to watch it on streaming without an audience. I had to see it alone and just felt that
Uh,
I felt the length of it more than I have some of his other films. I just
mhm.
that's yeah. I wonder if that's it. It simply needed a crowd.
Yeah, it needed a crowd. Yeah.
Huh, I'll have to go take another look at it. Like I said, the show is about advocacy, so I appreciate the passion. It does sort of let me pivot to the closer of the episode because we only have a limited window. But I wanted to ask, given that my theory is that Funny People doesn't work unless your films already exist, is there something from Funny People that you have used or borrowed? I know you mentioned the project you're working on now, but has it worked its way into your other films over the last 17 years or so?
Uh, the link, the you know, it will sound bizarre, but it's. I love Ingmar Bergman, you know, which is a director really different from Judd Apatow, really different. It's not the same kind of movies, And his films are incredibly cruel and tough, and demanding, and bitter, and violent. And when you see in the Big Taschen's book the photos, the stills on set of Bergman and his actresses, in one of his toughest movie, on Cry and Whisper, etc., you can see Bergman between the scenes, between the shots, discussing with these actresses or actors, and they are laughing out loud. And you can see them loving each other, sharing the work, and you see that, on the photos, the Wild Strawberries, the film is an absolute drama. So it's about bitterness, age, dying, death, etc. And you see on the photos, you can see the eyes of Bergman with just like the eyes as if he was 7 years old, admiring his actors, loving them, trying to pay a joke, because what they will have to endure during the take is tough. So he knows that they need a moment of fun between to go before the suffering, and so I would dare to compare this humanity of Bergman to the humanity of Judd Apatow, making films which are so different. One of them making absolute masterpieces of cinema. The other one Judd Apatow trying to entertain us and to give us some news of common life in America. But the two of them have this dedication for the actors, this love for the actors, and this deep knowledge about what a human being an actor, being an artist, needs to give his best performance. And that's, so that's, I would love to compare these photos of Bergman on the Tashkent's book to The Art of Judd Apatow.
My thanks to Arnaud Desplechin, whose latest film, Two Pianos, is now playing in New York and Los Angeles and opening wider in the weeks to come. Thanks also to Emma Myers. She knows what she did. Arnaud is not on social media, and honestly, good for him. But you can find Funny People on Blu-ray and DVD from Universal Studios Home Entertainment. It's also streaming on Starz and Philo in the US, and available to rent or buy on various VOD services across North America. You can find me on Blue Sky at Norm Wilner, and you can find this podcast there at Semcast, SEMcast, and on the web at someoneelsesmovie.com. The first year of the show is still available for just $20 at payhip.com/Semcast. That's the first 52 episodes of Someone Else's Movie, 40 of which aren't currently available anywhere else. And check out my newsletter, Shiny Things, at shiny-things.ghost.io. I think you'll enjoy it. Our theme song is by The Last Year. If you like it, or this show in general, please say so. Leave a review wherever you've been listening. Every little bit helps, it truly does. And check out the other shows on the Frequency Podcast Network while you're doing that. Stay safe, watch movies, get all the boosters. I'll see you next week.